This is Anna Leggett from Love Brain Reset, and today I am so happy to have as my guest Brenda Shaughnessy. I hope I've pronounced that right, Brenda.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so yeah, it's really, really lovely to have you, and I'm so excited to for you to share your story with everybody today because I know it's going to really inspire people, and many people are going to be able to relate to some of it. So yeah, so I've got your bio here. I'm just going to read that out. So Brenda works as a self-employed personal trainer and mindset coach in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. She's an accomplished ultramarathon runner. She's run distances from 50 kilometers to 100 miles. Among other races, she has completed the Canadian Death Race 3 times, and she's the first woman to complete the sadistic River Valley Revenge 100 miler, for which she is also the course record holder. Brenda hasn't always had such incredible successes, though. Since December 2014, she has gone through a repeating cycle of suffering severe life changing injuries. She has had to work harder than she has ever had to recover from these injuries and learn how to live with chronic pain and their permanent effects on her life. Brenda has been to the darkest place, planning her suicide, and risen from there to once again compete in ultramarathons and go all in, pursuing her passion by building a successful business for herself. She lives by many mottos, but the one that has helped her the most is a simple question that she asks herself in times of difficulty. Is this an obstacle or is this an opportunity? So, welcome, Brenda. And that is
Yeah.
just a wonderful, wonderful intro and bio. And I can't wait for you to share more. So, I mean, if are you happy to I don't really mind where you start actually with your story. I mean, I was thinking maybe your first concussion. If we start with that and a bit about what your life was like before that and around that time, and then what happened.
Sure. Yeah. So before that concussion, before December 28th, 2014, my life was, it was pretty good, actually. I was running lots, I was working out lots, I had a pretty good job, and I had just gotten married, convinced someone that I'm an adult and bought a new car, laughing when I left. I'm like, haha, fooled them. And then on that day, I was riding my horse and I was out by myself on a trail ride. I was getting back into endurance racing. I had done endurance racing on horseback for 15 years and then had put that aside for a while and gone over to running. And then I missed him. I missed my relationship with him. So I was coming back to that. And on that conditioning ride, which is one of the first few that I did after coming back, he had a mental meltdown and bucked for the first time ever in his life. He's been mine since he was born, and I've done all of his training, and he's never bucked until that day. And the result of that, which I was not expecting, was that he came up with his head really fast, and he hit me dead center in the forehead with the back of his head, and broke my helmet. And I was
Wow.
unconscious before I hit the ground, lying in the
Wow.
snow. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you remember anything about it, or is it just a blank?
I remember it's so weird. Time slows down to almost not moving. I
Mhm.
remember his mane against my face and feeling that silky but coarse sensation, and smelling him and thinking, "Oh my God, I
Mhm.
love his smell so much. I love him so much." And then all of a sudden it felt like my eardrums had exploded, like just like burst open, and time fast forwarded, and I was just like, I had no idea what was going on. Just overwhelmed with all of this motion. I couldn't make sense of what had just happened. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, I don't, why do my eardrums hurt? And then I was like, just going over his shoulder, and that was it. And I woke
Wow.
up lying on my back. I know I went over his shoulder face first. That's
Mhm.
the last thing I remember. And I woke up lying on my back in the snow.
So not only did you hit with a great force, hit him, but then you hit the ground as well.
Yeah.
So you had a double impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did somebody find you there, or what happened next?
I had to walk out by myself. I had to walk to someone's house and ask them if they could give me a ride back to the barn. It was several miles away.
Mm-hmm.
And I got back there and he had gone straight to his pen,
Wow.
a little jerk. And
Not realizing what he'd done.
no, well,
No.
he
Oh,
knew.
oh,
He knew I was
right. But
mad. Yeah, he knew. And I didn't know my helmet was broken. I was still wearing it. I had no idea. I didn't know what had happened.
mm-hmm.
And I got back on him and I rode him for another few miles because I wasn't going to leave it on that note. I was going to leave it on a
Mm-hmm.
good note.
Okay.
And then I took my helmet off and discovered that it was broken.
Wow.
And a few hours later, the headache started and it got pretty bad pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was by myself, so I had to drive myself to the hospital. And they said, it doesn't look like anything's broken, so you can go. And I was like, I drive myself home. And they're like, did you drive here? I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, good luck. Go see your doctor.
Did they check you for a concussion at that
They
time?
did. Yeah, they said you
Mm-hmm.
probably have a concussion. There's no like they stuck me in the MRI machine like right away and they're like
Mm-hmm.
your skull is fine, but
Okay.
your brain got a solid hit.
Did it show up anything on the MRI?
No, nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they sent you back home to rest and recuperate and what take a couple of weeks and you'll be fine, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I went back to work. That was the end of December. Work started again a few days later. I went back to work and I lasted half a day before the headache ended that
Mm-hmm.
very, very quickly. And I thought, well, I'll try again tomorrow. And I came back the next day, 45 minutes. That was it. And I called my doctor and I got in with him within an hour. And after talking about it with him, he said, you have a severe concussion. You have a grade 3 concussion.
Wow.
And you're going to take the next month off work, which
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't take a month off work. He's like, actually, yeah, you can, and you're going to. And he sent me home and said, come back and see me in a month. And he's like, don't go outside. Don't go to the grocery store. Don't stay up late. Sleep in lots. Don't have a hot shower. Don't have a bath. Don't,
Mm-hmm.
don't, all these things. And then I discovered that that list was like that big because of all the things that I couldn't do because of that concussion. I couldn't unload the dishwasher because the clinking of the dishes was like,
Too much.
can't. Couldn't walk my dogs. I couldn't read, couldn't talk on the phone, couldn't watch TV. I couldn't use the screen of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
So I did nothing, like quite literally nothing.
Just lying in bed and hoping it would go away.
I sat on the couch and stared out the window for a month. And in January, we get like 6 hours of daylight here.
Yeah.
So I spent 18 hours every day in the dark and I was by myself.
And when you're so used to having such an active life and with your job and also all your athletic things that you were doing, that must have just been so horrible.
I was doing triple days with
Mhm.
exercise before work, at lunch, and after work, 5 days a week, triple days. My output was really high,
Yeah,
and then it went to zero, and the anxiety was
huge.
overwhelming. Yeah,
Yeah.
overwhelming. Yeah.
And nobody at that point said, oh, to try sort of working up, doing some exercise or anything, or did you attempt to and you just couldn't?
I
Or
couldn't do anything.
yeah, it
Literally
was,
nothing.
yeah, just too
Anything
much.
I tried would
Just
spike that
trigger
headache.
things. Yeah. And did you feel dizzy as well? Did you have kind of I don't know, like yeah, vertigo or dizziness?
No,
No?
I had short-term memory loss for
Mm-hmm.
3 months. I just lost 3 months of my life.
Which is so scary, isn't it? That's just so frightening.
Yeah, in the evening you think back like what did you have for breakfast in the morning? I can see in my mind, I can see my breakfast right now.
Yeah.
But at that time when I looked back, I would just literally see black. There was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It was gone. So I had a memory loss and I didn't didn't realize it, but I had lost my peripheral vision. So I literally had tunnel vision, and then my hand coordination was very, very low. I couldn't make my fingers do things,
Mm-hmm.
and my
Yeah.
cognitive abilities were dramatically affected. I like to do Sudoku puzzles,
Mm-hmm.
and even the easiest ones, I couldn't figure it out. I would look at it and I'm like, I can't make sense of anything that's here. I don't know. I don't know what this even says.
So,
It's really
so
hard.
Brenda, yeah, I mean, it's also very familiar to me, with my car accident and things and having a concussion there. And I can really relate to those kind of symptoms. And just to go from being active and normal, essentially, and doing all those everyday things. And, you were working in a high powered job, you were very active, with all your sport and exercise and everything. And then it's not until you're in that kind of a situation you realize you just take everything for granted, don't you? And suddenly all that's taken away. It's so horrible.
Yeah.
um yeah. So did you so okay, so a month kind of went by, and did you just think at that point, right, I'm not getting better, I need to go and fix this, I need to start figuring out what to do next,
I
or
didn't,
what would
I had
happen?
no idea. I had no idea what to do. I've never had a concussion. I didn't know
Hmm.
anyone who had at that point, and I
Yeah.
couldn't use the internet to even do any research on what a person should be doing
Yeah.
to recover from a concussion. And a month after the injury, my husband left me for another woman. So there was that
Mm.
added on top of everything. So I was in severe pain, and the person who was supposed to be there left.
Yeah.
And I was completely isolated, cut off from everyone, like alone.
Was there family around, or were you sort of living away from your family? And
My
so,
family is not even in Alberta. My family's like 14 hours away. They're a long ways away.
wow, yeah, that's a long way. So you were on your own, and um, feeling absolutely dreadful at that point. I mean, your life just literally falling apart, and not knowing what to do. Um, what was there a turning point for you? What was there obviously was a turning point for you, but what was that turning point? Or was it a gradual journey? I mean, how did you turn things around?
The turning, well, I had to go to this terrible place. Like it was like being on this slope, and I started sliding down it, and the farther I slid, the steeper it got and the faster I slid. And one day I was at the bottom. I hit the bottom. I was like literally like in hell, like at the bottom. You can't go any farther down. And when I was in that place, the fires of hell are raging, but I felt nothing, like nothing. I was empty. And I sat there and had like a really long, extended conversation with death. And that's when I was planning to end my life. And I was like, how am I going to do this? I can't leave. It has to happen here. And this, it's like this, you become this robot where you're methodical and you're calculated and you're logical about it. And it hurts, but it doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's difficult to explain what that's like. But I couldn't leave my dogs. Was was in the end that's what it was. I couldn't leave them because I would have
Wow.
been there for probably a week before anyone showed up and found me. And I wasn't going to leave them for a week with my body lying on the floor. Like it's it's like it's a really terrible thing to talk about and to think about, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And the more I talk about it, the easier it gets to talk about it.
And
And
it's,
so I had
it's a common experience for people who've had a concussion. I mean, it's, you listening to you now and you explaining that, and I know it's really, really hard. And thank you for sharing that, because it's not something that everybody goes through, but it's something that a lot of people go through.
Mhm.
And I hit rock bottom as well. I remember just being in so much pain that I didn't want to carry on because the pain and what I couldn't do anymore, the fact that I thought I'd never get back to living a life that I wanted to live.
Yeah.
It is a very, very painful place to go. And I didn't want to carry on. Unfortunately, it was my family, my children and my husband. My husband said to me, it's not that you don't want to be here anymore, it's that you just don't want to be in pain anymore. And he was right. That was it, and that brought me back. I remember thinking, right, no, I have to keep going, I have to carry on. And yeah, so it's, it's just wonderful to hear that you found that your dogs gave you that,
Yeah. Climbing, like,
brought you
but climbing
back.
out of
Yeah.
that place,
Yeah.
it took a long time, and I had to dive deeper into me
Mm-hmm.
than I ever have, and I had to keep going and going and going and going until I got to that there's this imagery that it's in my mind, and it's never going to leave me. It's permanently burned in there. I went so deep, I got to this like giant, heavy, thick oak door, and I can see it so perfectly, wrought iron hinges, a wrought iron handle, and then a keyhole there. And I looked down in my hand and I was holding the key. And I was like, well, I guess I should open this door. And in my mind, I could see myself opening this door. And as I pulled on it, which was really hard to do, this little crack opened up and this light shone out. And it just illuminated like this much of the path that I had to take. And so I took a step. And then I was able to open that door a little bit more, and it illuminated a little bit farther of that path, and a little bit farther, and a little bit farther. And then I was able to swing that door open. And inside was like this perfect column of glass that was emitting this light. And it's like this brilliant white crystalline, almost so bright you can't see it, light. And it lit this path long ways away from where I was, so I could see where I had to go. And that light, this like, it was so hard to get there. I had to work so hard to go down and down and down into myself and find that. And then I realized that's my strength.
Mm-hmm.
That light, that's my unlimited strength. And if it can illuminate this path for me to get out of this, then I can. And when I do, there is nothing that I'm not going to be able to do.
That is so beautiful.
That's
It's so beautiful and so
stuck
powerful.
here. Yeah.
And I've got goosebumps. I really have got goosebumps just listening to you saying that.
Yeah. So now I
Wow.
know where that door is. I know how to get there. But I
Yeah.
had to go through all of that to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through that pain. Like the prescription drugs didn't even touch the pain. Zero effect. I had to learn how to live with that for a very, very long time. And that is what allowed me to dive.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know where to go to get to there. And so when shit gets hard, I can go there and open up that door.
And you see that again, you see that light and that sort of pulling you forward and yeah, leading you on. That's so lovely, Brenda. Thank you for sharing that. And so yeah, so you dug deep and you climbed out of the hole. And I when we spoke earlier, you said that you went for rehab, that eventually you came across somebody who recommended somewhere to go,
Yeah, just by
and that
chance.
started to help. Yeah.
Yeah. His dad has a severe concussion and had tried everything. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, you need to go do this particular physio for your brain, or you have to go do this. And so I went to this physio clinic here in Edmonton, and I said, I need to talk to someone about brain rehab. And
Mm-hmm.
they got me working on what's called a Dynavision board, which has it's large. It's a large piece of wood, and
Mm-hmm.
in the center is a little digital screen, and then there are concentric circles of buttons moving out, and they light up.
Mm-hmm.
And so you stare at the screen, and the button lights up, and you have to touch it without looking at it. When I started, I couldn't see the outer two rings. They just like they weren't there. And I had to go through months and months of very painful physio. It hurt badly twice a week, every week. And the next day I'd be on the couch all day. Like I couldn't move. It was so painful. And then I had to go back and do it again. And eventually I was able to see these outer rings. My coordination was terrible. I wasn't hitting the buttons. It took a long time before I was hitting the buttons. And then that very slowly started to improve. And by the time I was done with physio, by the time the specialist said, there's nothing more I can do for you, the buttons were lighting up every second, and I was waiting for them. I was so fast and so accurate that I was waiting. Like it was incredible. This
The
brain
change.
training. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible. The brain is so plastic. You have to have patience with it.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
amazing what it can do, both physically and mentally, how it can rewire.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you really experienced that. And you got to the point, I think, was it about 9 months that you took, or I don't remember, you tell us how long it was
Yeah.
you then managed to go back to work.
Yeah.
Was
After
that
nine
right?
months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
should
you
have taken a full year, but I was really
okay.
anxious to go back to work.
Yeah. So
And
you
it took,
felt by that point, yeah,
I was, yeah, mentally I was ready. Physically,
not
not
quite.
really,
No,
not really. But I wanted my life back. I was
sure.
done with that.
Yeah.
And it took probably 6 or 7 months before I was back to full time. It took a long time for me to be able to tolerate that, but I had to teach my brain. And in that 9 months, I also had to teach my brain how to tolerate walking again, like just walking. And it started with 20 minutes in the dog park, and then I'd be on the couch for the rest of the day in agony, absolute agony. And then I'd go back and I'd do it again and come home and be in agony. And I knew that the only way to be able to do this again was to just push through that. And that was when I didn't really clue into this until I look back and connect the dots,
Hmm.
but that was when I chose my pain. I chose the pain that I wanted. No one wants pain, but I chose the pain that I was willing to take. And that was the pain to get to where I wanted to be, because there's purpose. There's purpose and reason in that pain. And I'll take that any day over the pain of staying where I am, where there's no purpose, there's no reason, it is indefinite. It's like it goes forever. No.
And that is so profound. When you said that is incredibly profound, because you're choosing a path that isn't easy and that is painful and costly. And yeah, in some respects you would think you wouldn't choose it, but that pain and that path is better than the one, like you say, the alternative, which to you is just not an option. It's not an option. It's not a pain you want to endure. So you, like you say, that pain that you choose has purpose. And
It's hard. It's
yeah,
hard to choose the pain that's elevated. Like the activities spiked that pain
yeah.
badly. It's really hard to choose that.
But I
But
guess you had the hope of improvement, and that you might at some point be able to return or get, I don't know, just keep moving towards healing and better functioning. And perhaps, I don't know if at the time you were ever thinking you could get back to how you were before, or was that a goal as well, or
I
not
wanted
really at
to,
that point?
yeah. I knew that at the very least I wanted to run ultras again, and I wanted to run the big ones because that's what I love. It's what I do. I excel at the really big distances. Um, but I had no idea if I was going to be able to. I
Yeah.
had no idea how long it was going to take. I didn't know what it was going to be like when I went back to them. I I had no idea, and I still didn't know anyone who had been through this. So I was kind of like pioneering this journey in like the extent of my community. No one had been through this, and so I was learning as I was going, and then sharing parts of that. It took 3 years, 3 years to be able to share that I went to that dark place. It's a long time to carry that pain, but now that I am sharing it, it's helping so many people, so many people.
It would, and it will help more people, Brenda. I think, people need to hear these stories of hope. They need to know what's possible. They need
Yeah.
to know that it's possible to go from the darkest place to a life that is fulfilling and worth living and that brings you joy.
Yeah.
And that's not to minimize the difficulties and the challenges, the ongoing challenges and the ongoing pain or whatever. But you balance that out, don't you? You kind of get to a point, I guess it's a point of acceptance, but knowing that you can keep that things can keep improving. And
Yeah.
somehow I think for you, because I've got to that place as well, where you hold those challenges and the difficulties, I still hope my pain will go away fully, and I keep hoping. I've made a ton of recovery too, but I keep hoping for more. um but it's kind of accepting where you are and that things aren't 100%, but you're going to keep going whether you
Yeah.
get there or not. It doesn't it's great to think you will, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. But you just, that drives you forward. I think you have to have those goals and those dreams and something to pull you forwards and to really aim for.
Yeah. Well, it was after that concussion that I ran the 100 miler and won it and set the course record. It was after that that I
so
was able to rebuild to that.
so you gradually built up, you just kept going,
Yeah.
kept going, kept going, and you got to the point that you could do that,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So that was about how long afterwards, would you say? How long after your
Um,
concussion?
that was 2.5 years after.
Okay, which is amazing. That really is amazing, amazing. So you were doing those, you were training for, you started, I guess you got to the point where you realized you could start training and you could actually get to that level potentially. And you also, I'd love to talk more about that actually, because I know, I mean, so many athletes have concussions, and I think that, I'm not, I love exercise and the outdoors and everything, but I'm not an athlete at all. But I know there will be athletes listening to this, knowing, hoping to get back to some kind of form that they want to get back to. And there's no saying, I mean, everybody's concussion is different and everybody's journey is different, but you've proven that it is possible. And yeah, I mean, maybe talk about that now, actually, as we're on it. I'd love to hear more about that, Brenda.
About rebuilding.
Yeah, about you the races that you did. So you getting to the point of where you were fit enough essentially to start entering races, and not just any race, but like these really massive races. I guess you must have kind of done a few easier ones first, but tell us about some of those big races.
Yeah, I started with just like the walking, right? 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And to build up to hours, I would spend like 3 hours in the dog park just walking and just exploring with my dogs. And then um, it started with 500 meters of running. And I would wait the next day and see if there were any effects. And then the next day I would go out for another 500 meters of running. Like it was very, very slow, very careful, very calculated progression so that I wasn't going to aggravate. Looks like I froze.
No, you haven't
Am I
frozen.
back?
You're fine. You're fine. You're here. Yep, you're
Oh,
fine.
okay. Okay. Okay.
No-
Maybe you froze. I don't
okay,
know.
now you've frozen a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, it
We're
was a very
catching up. There's a
calculated,
there's a
very
lag. Yeah.
slow, methodical.
I've lost you again. I haven't.
No.
Oh no, there we are. It's fine. Just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so very slow, very methodical progression because I didn't want to aggravate any of these symptoms. I wanted to just push to where my limit was and then come
Hmm.
back. And then just a little bit farther and then come back and a little bit farther because I didn't want to push too far into that zone and then be set back days, right? Just a little bit at a time. And then all of a sudden I was at 5K of running. And then I hit 10K and then I hit 25K. And then I registered for a 50-mile race and I ran that and finished it in a really good time. And then I just kept going. I mean, I have the experience and the knowledge on how to progress and how to do that really safely. And I just followed the science really. And the first 100 miler that I tried to run after I got back to running, I DNF'd badly. It was not good. It just wasn't my day at all. I had hurt my foot pretty badly. I actually thought I broke my foot in the race, and then I ran another 50 miles on it. So it's maybe not the best idea, but then the following year is when I registered for that River Valley Revenge race. And I just kept training for it. I just kept progressing as my body and my brain told me that I could. Like I didn't follow a traditional training plan because everything about me had changed. And so I couldn't. I had to go by feel. I had to listen to how my body responded. And when I ran the race, it's 250 at that time. It was 250-mile loops of our river valley. Edmonton has a beautiful, huge river valley. It's fantastic. I love it. So we did 2 loops of it, and partway through the first loop, it had been raining a lot, and our soil is clay based. So when it becomes saturated with the rain, which is very quickly, it turns into grease, and it's difficult to run
Wow.
in. Yeah. And
Oh
some
my
of these
goodness.
trails, some of these trails, we call them cliff trails. Like the valley's like it's cut, and we have these cliff trails along them, and they're dirt, and in the rain they're mud. And I fell really badly on the first section of cliff trail. Like I fell 5 times in the span of like I don't even know what it was, 50, 60 meters. Fell down off the trail down the bank, and then like crawling back up. And that first fall was really bad. I went over backwards really, really fast, really hard. Didn't like I had no time to react and didn't know it, but I had reconcussed myself in that moment.
No.
And I kept running, and then I hit 50 miles, just about 50 miles, and the vertigo started.
Oh my
And then the
gosh.
puking started. And I puked for 50 miles for the entire second loop. And
That's
that is one
unbelievable.
of the lasting effects. It was so hard.
It's just
It poured rain for 24 hours. I don't know if maybe this is too much information, but you get sometimes when you're running, you get chafing, skin rubs on clothes or skin rubs on skin. I had a chafed outline of my entire sports bra in my body, like soaking wet. And I'm not stopping. There's
that's
nothing here that's going to stop me. I've already done the hardest thing in my life that I'm ever going to do. I'm not stopping. And I finished in first place.
wow. That's just
It was
extraordinary, extraordinary.
so hard, so hard. I had a lot of help along the way. I had some
Hmm.
amazing pacers. My crew was just out of this world. They were fantastic. Friends of mine showed up. They surprised me on the trail on the last loop, and I was like bawling.
Wow.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. And they were like this little boat that just floated me into the finish line. And yeah,
That's,
it was, I mean, it was a really hard experience to do that. And it was the first 100
mhm.
miler that I finished, also the hardest race I've ever done. But at the same time, it was easy just to keep going because I wanted it. I really wanted it. And that I chose that again, I was choosing my pain. And the closer I got to the finish line, the harder it got. But I was like, I'm still choosing this. I'm still choosing this. I want this.
Amazing. Amazing. I just, it's just extraordinary. Seriously, it's mind blowing, Brenda. Seriously. Oh, because, so many people just wouldn't have. It would have been too much. But you were so
Yeah,
determined, just so
yeah.
incredibly determined and driven. It just
15.
shows what we're capable of. It shows what human beings are capable of.
Yeah. More than half the people didn't finish. The finish rate was less than 50%.
Wow.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And what now, when if you have a bad day now, or I don't know, a blip or something, do you think back to that? Does that must stay in your memory forever? Just like, look, you did that. Wow, you can do anything.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I run races where I run all night by myself through the mountains, bear country, cougar country. It's fine. There's nothing on this planet that's going to scare me more than I've already scared myself.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
yeah.
that's something you said last time actually when we spoke. You mentioned that you have some affirmations that you say to yourself. regularly. And I know that there's one or several around fear. For you, that's a really big theme, isn't it? Overcoming
Yeah.
fear and
Yeah.
not letting it hold you
Because
back.
I
Yeah.
my life before all of this, there was fear in my life. Fear of stepping outside of my comfort zone. Fear of getting rid of the good and going for the great. Because what if that doesn't work out? What if it doesn't work out? So what? You went for it. That's pretty cool. So now this mantra, um, I live my life on purpose, not based on what ifs that are rooted in fear. I choose. Fear is like the fears that I have are a construct in my mind, and so I have to deconstruct them. I have to face them and deconstruct them.
That's amazing. That is an amazing place to get to.
Yeah.
You'll have to write that down for me because I love that. I really love that one. Um, it's great. But you tell yourself, I guess, you tell yourself regularly, and the more you say that to yourself, the more you believe it, and the more it becomes a reality, actually. And it's great to be able to push through fear
Yeah.
because so much of fear, like you say, is a construct. So much of it is unfounded, and so often our fears don't actually come true. They don't happen. They're just in our minds.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
suppose once you've had an experience where nothing is really going to be more frightening than that, or maybe there'll be something different, but it does teach you, I think, to yeah, that other things in comparison are very small or non-existent actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you've, like you say, if you've survived that, you can pretty much do anything. There's nothing
My
that's
point
gonna,
of reference has changed.
yeah,
Yeah. My point it's totally different. That woman, that woman before that concussion, right up until the point where rock bottom, she died. She had to. She had to die with that life so that this new woman could be forged out of that fire and create this new life.
yeah. And you've really created that like consciously, haven't you, Brenda?
Yes. Yeah. I quit my career. I quit my corporate high powered career. It's like, see y'all later. This doesn't fulfill me the way it used to. And life is fragile and ephemeral and it's so short. It goes by so fast. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life doing something I'm not fired up about. Why would I? What a waste of time. So I quit and I went back to school and I spent 2 years doing my education, and I got my certification to be a personal trainer and a running coach. And as soon like a month before I graduated, I was rear-ended and reconcussed and hurt very badly and in just as much pain as I was that first time, but just different places of me hurt like that. And even though I was suffering badly, I said, you know what? I'm starting my business anyways. And as soon as I graduated, I went self-employed. And that was the second hardest thing I've ever had to do, was to fix myself after that car accident while
Mhm.
starting a business and not being able to work very many hours. I had like 3 appointments 5 days a week to fix me, shelling out a lot of money, a lot of money to fix me. And I just kept thinking, I choose this. I choose this pain of building my life the way I want it to be, over just sitting back and just letting it float around. I don't want to float around. I want the direction. I want the accomplishment. I want to see the places where I want to be. I don't want to give up. It's not an option, right? I don't have an option. I have one path, and
Mhm.
it might take a hard left or a hard right or whatever, and these things are dropped in front of me, but it is still my path. There's no fork in that path. I used to think that I got to choose. That's very wrong. I was naive. That's very wrong. I don't get to choose my path. I don't get to choose my destiny. All I have to do is just keep walking the path that's in front of me. And that's led me to where I am today with this business and helping other people and transforming people's lives, which I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm meant to do. I'm fulfilling my purpose now. The reason why I was born was to do this, and I'm doing that now. And that just figuring that out, it's like the universe works in mysterious ways. But I had to go through all that to get here. Like there's no choice. I had to do this so that I could do that, so I could do that. You know, my husband had to leave me and my life had to burn to the ground so I could start from scratch. Completely clean slate and rebuild this life that I wanted, have nothing left of that to hold me back. No cracks in the foundation from having some of that left behind. Gone. Not starting over. Not starting over, I'm starting again. You don't start over, you just start again.
It's amazing, Brenda, your story. I honestly, I'm pretty speechless actually. I really am, because to think what you went through, and like you say, how you not just rebuild, you started from scratch and you didn't stop. You just stayed so focused and kept going. And
Yeah.
even then when you had your second concussion and the car accident, you just kept going. You just knew, okay,
Yeah.
you put yourself back together. You weren't, you I guess because of what you'd already been through, you were so strong, and you kind of almost knew what you had to do, and you knew you had to fix yourself as much as you could in order to keep going with your dreams. Like, your dreams were so strong, and your path that you were on, it was just so clear to you where you were going, that
Yeah.
nothing was going to stop you. And I just wish
Nothing.
every single person on this planet could hear that, because so many people need to hear that, whether they've been through a life-changing experience like we have or not. You know, people need to know that that's what it takes to live the life you really want to live, and the life that you're meant to live, and how much
Yeah.
joy and passion and pleasure and richness and fullness that
Yeah.
makes your life. That's what life's about, isn't it, Brenda?
Life is about the people. It's the people who come into your life. They come into your life at the right time when they're meant to. You came into my life at the exact right moment. It was perfect. All the things that led up to that had to happen so that
Yeah,
we could connect. And then you get to choose the people that you have in your life.
yeah,
And that's incredible. You choose these people and they become your chosen family. They add that meaning and that enrichment and the fun and the passion into your life. And you have these people who you connect with, and they just bring so much more to you. Yeah, the people matter. That's
definitely.
we got we
Yeah,
got time and we got people. Don't waste either.
absolutely. The most valuable things in this life,
Yeah,
definitely.
your
And
time
when
and the people. Yeah.
when you realize that, whatever it takes to make you realize that, like, you don't just take life for granted, and you don't just like before, I might have sort of thought, oh yeah, well, that was nice meeting Brenda or whatever, or just, oh well, I just happened to come across her. But now, like you say, I'm like you. I know that what I've been through, if my life hadn't changed the day I had my car accident 4 years ago, like I wouldn't have met you. I would have been on a different path. I don't know where that path would have gone, but I don't think about it anymore. I just think I'm on this path. Like you say, you have, it has its challenges, but I am so happy to be on the path that I'm on too, because you say, I get to connect with amazing people, and I get to, I don't know, things happen, like magic happens almost. And it's
It
not
is like that.
by,
Yeah.
it's not just, you're just living in another, it's like it's 3D, life's 3D, not 2D. and you notice things. You really notice and appreciate the connections and the things that happen day to day, the circumstances. And you're
Yeah.
thankful for them
And
as well. You're just like, wow, that
oh
was
yeah.
so great to meet that person or have that experience or whatever.
Yeah. And the more you realize these things, the bigger these realizations become.
Yeah.
And the more you just keep leveling up your consciousness, basically. So
Yeah.
that woman, like that woman died. She died, gone,
And
never
there is
coming
a
back.
morning. I mean, I don't know about you, but I had a
Oh
morning
yeah.
period, a morning stage that went on for quite a
Yeah.
long time. And every now and again, I have a little pang, but actually morning, and it's kind of like a grief and everything. But you go through it. You do come out the other
Yeah.
side. It's painful,
Yeah.
but like you said, you kind of no carry on.
Yeah. Since
I want to hear
then,
you, not me.
right?
Yeah,
Since then, like I mourned the death of that life.
yeah,
I mourned the child that I wanted that I will never have. That hurts. That hurts badly. It was really, really hard to work through that. But I did it because I had to. And so this new woman emerged. But since then, this the layers of cocoons have come off, and I'm on level I don't even know what since then. Yeah. And like
Just-
it's unlimited. It's unlimited. My
yes,
my strength and my power are
definitely.
unlimited, and they're just gonna keep taking me up
Yeah.
continuously leveling up.
I love that. I really love that, Brenda. That is just amazing. And do you think that you live in the now? Do you think you're better at living in the present as well?
Yeah. Come in the present moment is eternal.
Yeah,
Right? This is all we have is now. The past, that's just a memory. The future doesn't exist. It's not doesn't it actually doesn't exist. It's not here. What we have is now. This is what matters right here.
yeah,
Doing the best you can in this moment. And that best changes
yeah,
based on what's going on in your life. Sometimes it's less than what you think is your best, but it is still your best on that day.
yeah.
Recognizing
Making the
that and
most of the now.
give yourself some grace. Treat yourself with kindness and compassion, right? Don't be your own critic. There's so many critics of you in this world. You don't need to add to that. Treat yourself
Definitely.
with kindness and compassion, and recognize that every single day you are doing your best on that day, given what's going on in your life. All these experiences that you've had have led up to this moment right here, right now, and you are reacting or responding, hopefully responding to whatever's happening in the best way that you can. Learning that about myself, that's a game changer. That's a
Definitely.
total game changer. Yeah, when you start loving yourself and accepting that your performance level is going to change, and it might not meet the expectations of other people or even your own expectations. You take this pressure off yourself, and it just becomes easy, and all of a sudden you're in alignment. I stopped
Yeah.
trying so hard. I stopped fighting so hard. I was fighting so hard for these things that I thought that I should be doing. I thought that I should want. I thought that I should have. Nope. Take all that pressure off, all those expectations. I mean, I still have expectations of myself, but I stopped trying so hard. And all of a sudden I'm in alignment and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's like magic. It is like magic. It's magic.
Yeah. And I can see the joy in your face, and it's so lovely. It's so you just exude it, I it's so you you are who you are, and you're doing what you're doing, and it's just you can see it in your face, Brenda. It just, it lights up. And
I'm so passionate about it.
yeah,
Yeah, I work half my business is with ultramarathoners
yeah.
and half my business is with rehab clients. And I am so passionate about helping the people who need it. I work with the people that other trainers are afraid to work with.
Hmm.
I work with the people with really complex, chronic, long-term injuries and pain, so much pain, because I can.
Yeah.
I have the technical training, I have the theoretical training, I have the actual like professional experience, and I have the empathy because I understand in my heart, I understand where they're at and why they're there. And I know how to coach them through that.
And
I know how to
that
walk
means so
next to them.
much. Yeah, because it's not like
I
you're not just
want to
there.
help all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to help them so badly. I want to help all the people in this position because you don't have to stay there.
Yeah. You know what it's like. You've been there and you know you don't have to stay
Yeah.
there. You know it's
You don't
possible
have to
to,
stay there. You stay there and
yeah.
you stay there and you're going to go back down that slope again.
Yeah. So you're there kind of pulling people out and showing them what's possible, showing what's possible for them, because we're all individuals and
Yeah.
we've all got different things we want to achieve or things we want to get back to doing, or if you can't get back to doing something, find something else. And
Yeah.
everybody's different. And so you're helping people, you're giving people hope and helping to give the dreams back.
Changing
And
lives. Like I
yeah,
transformed
transforming.
lives.
Yeah. Helping to
Yeah.
people to transform and giving them their power back as well, like helping
Yeah.
to empower people. So
It's
there's
so
nothing better
it's
to
such
do.
a privilege.
Is there?
I'm so I'm privileged to
Yeah.
be in this position. Very. I recognize that and I'll never forget it. How lucky I am to be able to help people in this way. I mean, it's quality of life. Like I
Yeah.
see the transformation literally right before my eyes.
Yeah. You must see some amazing things.
So many tears of joy. My clients, oh my God, tears of joy at being able to do the first body weight squat. Tears of joy of being able to play basketball again. Tears of joy of not needing double shoulder surgery. I'm going to start crying just
Yeah.
thinking about
I
it.
know. Oh,
Oh,
it is beautiful. It's
oh,
amazing. It really
yes. Yeah.
is, just to help people to get back to, yeah, a quality of life that is worth having. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. And it's amazing what the mind and the body can do. I'm just never, I'm just constantly being blown away by what is people are capable of
Yeah.
with the
More
right
than they
help,
think they are.
and the right kind of
Yeah.
mindset and the right approach, and just, yeah,
Mhm.
things coming together
Yeah.
to show people a path where perhaps they just never thought they'd be able to do something, or never had,
Yeah.
they'd lost that hope completely. So it's just so lovely to hear, that you are
Yeah.
changing lives and enabling people to, yeah, carry on
Yeah.
in such a great way. So, oh, oh, Brenda, thank you so much. And just one more thing, if because time is ticking by, and it's so lovely to talk to you. But you have got the most amazing Facebook profile on your Instagram page as well, which I will share
Thank
at
you.
the end. But your photographs that you post on there are just amazing, of your incredible experiences and adventures out in the wilds of Canada. Makes me want to emigrate to Canada, seriously.
We would be
It's
happy to have you.
oh, I'm hoping at least one day maybe I can go on holiday there. But
Yes.
it's
Yes.
just stunning, the landscape and the scenery and everything. And
Yeah.
you've got, I don't know if it's just one exciting plan or lots of exciting plans. You're always posting your mountain biking or walking or out in the snow or whatever it is you're doing, snowboarding, I don't know, whatever it is you're doing, amazing, beautiful pictures. And so what are your latest, yeah, what are you planning at the moment?
Oh, I have a 50K race coming up in May. I have a very, very aggressive time goal for that. Um, got a couple other races this year, but then the really big thing for me is going to be in August when I face I face a fear that I've had, and I'm going way into the wilderness of BC to climb my unicorn mountain that I've been staring at for 30 years since I was a child. And I've been terrified of this mountain because it's so far away. It's so hard to get to, and it is absolutely ginormous. It is huge, massive, massive mountain. I've just been staring at it, thinking someday maybe I'll do that. And at the beginning, well, sort of in the spring of last year, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. I live my life on purpose. I'm doing it. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get there. I'm going to figure out, all the logistics of it. I'm going to have backup plans and backup for the backup and safety, this, that, and the other thing. But I'm doing it. And even if I don't have anyone to go with me, I'm doing it. A lot of people were like, take me. So I don't have to go by myself. I can share that experience with other people. But yeah, I'm doing that. It's going to be a solid week to get that done. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Wow.
That mountain is my business logo.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
So
I
which
picked that
mountain is
mountain.
that? Can you share which mountain it is, or is it top secret?
You won't find it online. You won't
Oh,
find it. It's
okay.
called Mount Moore. There's no information on it whatsoever. Someone may or may not have climbed it 20 years ago. It's really
Mm-hmm.
unclear. So
Okay.
me and my friends might be the first people to summit this mountain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, we'll be the first in at least 20 years to go up there.
It'll be great to have a group to go with, actually, won't it? And to share that
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
So you're planning that
yeah.
now, are you? I imagine you've spent hours and hours and hours and hours planning it already.
Yeah,
But yeah, is that all
yeah,
coming together?
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I know the route. I know the alternative route. I have the route chosen to the summit. It's a scramble. It's a vertical kilometer of just rock, and it's 5K of just rock to get there to that summit route.
Wow. So do you kind of know it like the back of your hand? Like, have you kind of figured it all out? They're sort of, I don't know. I mean, have you gone and checked it out, or are you just kind of observing it and, I don't know,
Nope.
looking at
Google,
maps or pictures or
yeah, yeah.
things? Yeah.
Google Earth and topographic maps, and then I've gone back and forth with someone else who's really good at interpreting Google Earth and topographic maps, and we've settled on the route, the appropriate route, and we have a backup. And yeah, I mean, I've been
Wow.
since I was a kid, I've been navigating in the mountains with topographic maps, so I'm very familiar and comfortable with that, just picking
Hmm.
where to go.
Awesome. Wow. It's so exciting. I can't wait to, hear about it and just follow you doing that and hear about how it all goes and everything. So yeah, I hope it goes really well. I hope you achieve your dreams and it all goes well.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure it won't probably won't all goes according to plan, but I hope you achieve what you want to achieve with that. So oh, Brenda, thank you so much for joining us today, or joining me today, and sharing your story. I know it's going to really speak to a lot of people, and you're going to inspire so many people. I'm just coming away inspired again after speaking to you. So thank you for inspiring me.
Welcome.
Um, and yeah, I mean, just all the best with everything. You're doing an amazing job,
Thank
and
you.
keep changing lives, keep living to the
One
full.
person at a time. Change the world one person at a time.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to share now how people can find out more about you and follow you online.
Mhm.
So I've got a list here you gave me. So, okay, so your website is summittraining.ca. Is that how you say it? Or how do you do it with a Canada one like that? I don't know. Just CA, yeah.
Yeah.
Summittraining.ca.
.ca.
Yeah, okay. Email is info@summittraining.ca. Instagram, summittraining.ca. And then you've got your personal Facebook page, Brenda Shaughnessy, and your business Facebook page,
Yeah.
Summit Coaching and Training. And I will put all those in whatever descriptions on wherever I post this. I'm going to post it all over the place because I want as many people as possible to hear your story and to hear what you're sharing.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you
Even if it
so,
if it
so
only
much.
helps one person. Yeah. If it helps
Oh,
one person.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I know it's going to help a lot more than that. So, oh, thank you so much for your time. And
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
yeah, best of luck, Brenda. Take care. Great to
Thank
talk.
you.
Okay, have
Thanks.
a great rest of your day. Bye bye.
Thanks.
See you.